Hello everybody, and welcome to my first YouTube video. Um, like and subscribe if you want. I'm not holding a gun to your head. It's totally up to you, and I hate when people try to cram that stuff down my throat. So if you like what I'm selling, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. In this video, I'm just sketching out this fish with a sailor hat. So it is something simple. I'm being messy. I'm not caring. I'm having fun. Usually on any project, I always start with pencil. I always start with the sketch, because with a sketch, I mean, you can see it in your mind, and this is where your mind starts melding with the paper. I don't care if I'm messy. I don't care, how it really looks. I just want to see somewhat of an idea of what I have in my head onto the paper. And this is just experimental. It's fun. This is where you plant your idea, and this is where I'm watering it to watch that seed grow. As I'm recording my voice right now, I've actually done a couple things with this sketch. I actually inked it out and scanned it, made it into vector art for computer in case I ever wanted to use it for anything else on the digital art. And I actually traced it out and did a watercolor picture with this. And at the end of this video, I will definitely share the digital version of this and the watercolor version of this. So I got the idea from my son, who came up to me and was like, "Dad, can you draw me a fish with a sailor hat?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that kind of sounds fun. That'd be a fun thing to draw." And I do get a lot of my ideas from him because he's so young. Young people have such an imagination that a lot of older people seem to lose when they get older, and it's a sad thing to me. This YouTube channel's been in a while in the making. I really wanted to start one for a while. I've just been busy with so many projects and work and everything that it's hard to sit down and just actually make something like this. There's a lot of work that actually goes into making a YouTube video. People don't understand that with the editing, the voice, and actually having me to draw this out and record it. It's a lot of work. But I really wanted to do it because I love YouTube. I've learned so much off of it from the last several years watching it. Anything I've wanted to learn, I've just looked it up and learned it. It's not, and which is a big difference from when I was growing up. Even going to libraries, in the small town I lived, there wasn't a mass amount of great art books that were there. And especially having to use the card catalog, take you 15 minutes to write down this number and find it through these maze of books that all look the same. And finally you get there and you realize the dang book is checked out. So screw that. You had to find something else that you really didn't want to learn, but you came there to find something to learn, but that's what you're stuck with. So yeah, you definitely kids nowadays, man, you can just, to me, I love it. I take full advantage of that because knowing what I didn't have when I was growing up, like my son has. And he's such a great artist as well. And I look at where I was at his age, what he's doing to what I was doing. It's a big difference. I wasn't doing computer art to my mid-20s. He's doing that stuff at 11 years old. So that's what I tell him, keep at it, because the younger you start that, the better you're going to be when you're my age. And I hope to God he does surpass me and, really gets a lot better than me. And he definitely does inspire me. But yeah, I advise you kids, eat that knowledge up, but on good stuff you want to do and stuff that makes you happy. By starting this YouTube channel, I just really wanted to give back what YouTube has given me. And I really just wanted to, teach what I've learned from my years of being an artist. I've done it 15 years professionally, and I've been an artist as long as I can remember. I remember being a child and just drawing this monster truck with crayons, and I, still being 43 right now, I can remember clearly how that made me feel, and I was like so excited just by able to draw on this monster truck with all these colors and seeing this idea I had come to life on paper. And ever since then, I've been, just consumed by it, addicted to art. As I grew up and got into high school, I knew I wanted to be an artist, you know what I'm saying? I just really wanted to do that for a job. And I believe when you do something you love as a job, it really doesn't feel like a job all the time. Sometimes it's not always going to be perfect. That's just goes with everything in life. Nothing's always ever going to be perfect, and that's what you deal with. But most of the time, if you're happy and you're having fun with your job, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like, oh man, I got to get up and go to work. And if you're doing that, that's, to me is a waste of time. You got to find something you love doing. And because when you love doing it, you're going to be so much better at it. And as I got out of high school, I gave up on being an artist. I just took normal regular jobs that I hated doing because I knew I didn't want to do that. I didn't, feel like I was living what I was want to be. And, eventually I remember in my mid 20s, I was working at a great job that had great benefits and, well paying. I was looking at people, they were saying I was going to move up in the ladder, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't do it no more. And eventually quit and started working on my graphic design career. I really wanted to be a game art designer. I went to school online for that and I really loved it. I love video games. I love being an artist. So what better combination could that be? And back then, there wasn't a lot of game developers like there are today. We didn't have the indie games. We didn't have the cell phone games. And in the small town I lived in, there was no jobs like that. I eventually ended up taking a job at a screen printer designing T-shirts. And that's when it all started. I started learning Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, and I really got better at it as I went along my career. I ended up leaving that place, going to a newspaper, doing advertisement, learning Adobe InDesign. And I was just picking up all this knowledge through all the years to even those, what people will say, those low paying jobs paid off to me because now I have all this experience, have all this knowledge, doing different things, advertisement, screen printing, animation, everything. I just wanted to dabble my hands into everything. And I feel like I'm never done growing as an artist. I'm always constantly learning. I crave the ability to learn something new and actually see it come through. That's what I like. And people say, oh, why don't you stick with one thing? Why don't you stick with pencil and doing pencil portraits? Why don't you stick with graphic design? Well, to me, it would be boring after a time. I like to do many things in art, man. I hate sticking to one medium all the time. I like to alternate. I'll do pencil for a little bit, and then I'll watercolor. Also, I'm trying out oil painting. I really want to try that. Besides graphic design, I do a lot of things in the art. And one thing I've learned throughout the year that I'm kind of new at and that I'm really into is woodworking. It's amazing to me how you can just take a piece of wood and to make it into something too. It's, to me, is really great. My brother is an amazing woodworker, and it's cool to see, learn. If I have questions, I give him a call, and it's cool that I have somebody like that to go to. But learning all those different things like graphic design and pencil and sketching, all that, it helps me. They kind of co-combine. An example of this is recently my wife asked me to make her a rolling pin rack, and before I even touched a piece of wood, I had it designed on Adobe Illustrator. Before I even started, I knew, I just made myself a blueprint on the computer before I even built it, and it was so easy just because I had all the information there. But, that's what Da Vinci, he loved doing many things. He was not only an artist and painter and sculptor, he was a musician and, engineer. That's what makes a great artist. They just always, want to make something new and don't want to be restricted by a certain medium. Some of my biggest advice I can give any young artist or artist starting out: don't be afraid to fail, man. You're always going to fail. And that's just, like I said, it's an art, it's life. No matter what you're seeking out to do, you're going to fail a time or two. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you less of a person. And I tell my son this and he gets mad. he hates this quote because every time he gets mad and does something or fails at something, and I tell him this quote, and it's, "The master has failed more times than the student has tried." And that's that's a big truth to a lot of stuff, and he hates when I say that. And when I start getting frustrated, and he drops it back at me, which he's smart enough to do that now. You know, when he was little, you could get away with that kind of stuff, but now, you know, he kind of he knows how to reverse engineer my techniques. Expect to fail. Anything you do in life, expect to fail. I mean, it's not. There's nothing wrong with failing. I mean, I failed many a times. Failed at, you know, to a point to I wanted to give up on art, because at first it didn't happen the way I wanted to. But, you know, the thing with failure, you know, it's only going to make you worse if you give up. But if you continue at it and learn from each failure and get better at it, then that's just going to make you better. And that goes, again, along with anything in life. And I appreciate you watching this and listening to me ramble. I really do. This is kind of therapeutic for me, and I really like doing this. You know, I had fun making the video and actually talking to myself, watching my dog look at me like I'm crazy now. I definitely plan to make more videos. And so I have some tutorials actually written that I want to get out on here on YouTube and give back to the YouTube community what they've given me. And I appreciate everybody for watching, and please leave comments and let me know how I'm doing. Again, I'm new to this too, so, you know, I'm trying to learn. You know, I see my camera shaking and some of my video footage I definitely wasn't happy with, but, you know, I put it on there just to show that mistakes happen and I'm learning from them. But, you know, give me time, and that goes for anybody. Anybody can do anything if they really do put their mind to it. And that's no cliche. That's true. And I've seen it time and time again. So again, thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and remember to be creative. I promised to show you guys the digital version and my watercolor version. So here it is, the digital version on Illustrator and Vector, and as you can see, it's scalable and ready to use clip art. You know, I could add color, which I plan to do later if I need it for anything else. And here's the watercolor version, which was really the first time I got to use my watercolor pencils, which was pretty cool, and I thought it came out pretty well. And again, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned.